If you're wondering how to get through your Social Studies SBA, here's a step-by-step guide for the introduction. In this video, we'll look at an overview of what the SBA is about, the statement of the problem, which is the first task, the second task, which is the reasons for selecting the area of research, and we'll close out this presentation with your task checklist, just to ensure that all the tasks are completed. About the Social Studies SBA. So, what's the SBA really about? According to your Social Studies syllabus, the school-based assessment is an integral part of student assessment in the course covered by this syllabus. It is intended to assist students in acquiring certain knowledge, skills, and attributes that are critical to the subject. During the course of the subject, students obtain marks for the competence they develop and demonstrate undertaking their SBA assignments. So you know this is really important. These marks contribute to your final grades that are awarded for your performance in the exam. So you know that the effort you put out goes towards your final grade. The SBA provides an opportunity for you to individualize a part of the curriculum to meet your needs. It facilitates the feedback to you at various stages of the experience because your teachers will be providing feedback when you submit these drafts. This helps to build the self-confidence of students as they proceed with their studies. The SBA also facilitates the development of critical skills and abilities and makes an important and unique contribution to the testing and rewarding of students for the development of the skills that you will learn. It cannot get any better than that. So, how important is your SBA grade? Well, first of all, your exam is divided into 3 papers, and paper 1 is your multiple choice paper. It values 60 marks, and you'll do 60 multiple choice questions. It's based on sections A and B of the syllabus. It does not include questions from section C because that's the option section. So, out of those 30 marks, you will get 30% of your overall grade. So if you get 60 out of 60, you'll already have 30% of your overall grade. Then we have the paper 2, which values 100 marks. You'll do 5 questions, answering in short answers, written in complete sentences, and you should have some practice with that already. And that values 50%. So half of your grade is based on paper 2. Then we have our SBA, which is the paper 3, and it values 40 marks. So you know it values a whopping 20%. So you may be wondering, why is this so important and why is Miss stressing this? Miss is stressing this because you know the proverb, every mickle makes a muckle. Every point that you gain is important. There are 200 marks to be gained, and if you get 40 out of the 200, you're on your way to getting a grade 1. Why is the SBA important? Because if you don't do it, you can't get a complete exam grade, you'll get ungraded. If you don't do it well, you can't get a grade 1. So every mark is important. Don't look at the fact that it's only 20% of your final grade. Look at the fact that it can possibly push you over from a grade 2 to a grade 1. So moving into what the SBA is all about, we have 4 sections to our SBA and 9 tasks to be completed. So our first task is the introduction. Our first section is the introduction, and it's divided into 2 tasks. So here you'll develop a topic and narrow it down to a statement of the problem. You'll also give reasons for selecting your area of research. So that's 2 tasks, and that values 4 marks. Second section is our methodology, and we'll have 3 tasks here. The first task, you will include your method of investigation that you intend to use. You will also include your instrument that you use to collect the data. And the third task, you will outline the procedures that you will use to collect the data. And this section values 8 marks. Our third section is the presentation and analysis of data. You'll have 2 tasks here. The first one is to present your data using a variety of formats, then explain what the data means by assessing the trends, patterns, and anomalies. And that will be your analysis and interpretation. That's 2 tasks, and that values 16 marks. The last section is your conclusion, and your conclusion will have 2 tasks. You will do your statement of findings, and you will also make recommendations based on the findings. So there you have it, 4 sections, 9 tasks to be done, and to be done well. Let us look at the first task, which is the statement of the problem. Now, how will we arrive at our statement of the problem? First, we'll select a general topic from the syllabus. So you'll have to look in your syllabus to find a topic. If you don't have a syllabus, you'll have to go to the CSEC store and download a copy. Let me show you an example of this. So I'm looking at human development, nutrition, and health. How do we know that it's in the syllabus? Because this is an excerpt from the syllabus. And this section of the syllabus is section B, Sustainable Development and Use of Resources. And it is objective 8. To explain the factors that contribute to the development of human resources. Under that objective, there's content, 7 content areas, and I chose the first one, nutrition and health. So you know that my topic is going to be from the syllabus. I have referenced it. The second and third task, you're going to be writing a specific question based on that broad topic so that you can break it down into something more manageable. Also, you'll have to include people and places in that topic that you have narrowed down. So let me give you an example. Right here, we have what we call our statement of the problem in the form of a question. To what extent do nutritional guidelines influence the lunch choices of students at Excellence High School? So we have our question. The question needs to include certain things. The first thing is the what. What are you doing in your research? What's your topic of concern? And here you can see highlighted nutritional guidelines that influence lunch choices. These are what we call variables. The second thing we must include are the people, the who. And here our people are students, but not just random students. These are students at the third part, the where. And these students are students of the Excellence High School. So when you craft your statement of the problem, it must have the what, the who, and the where. The fourth thing that we need to include here are some research questions. Why do we need research questions? Because they break your problem statement down into manageable parts and they help you to organize the research. Here's an example. We have our 3 research questions here. What factors influence students' lunch choices? Number 1. And usually your number 1 question is your cause question. Number 2. How aware are students about the recommended nutritional guidelines for teenagers? So our second question is usually an awareness question or an effects question. And then number 3, what strategies can be implemented to help students to choose lunch items that are more aligned to the recommended nutritional guidelines? And usually our third research question is a results-oriented question. So you'll be looking for solutions. Let me elaborate on this some more. So the first one, causes. What would be the factors influencing the lunch choices? Is it money? Are students able to afford the lunch items that are available at the canteen? Second, the variety. Does the canteen have a wide enough variety for students to choose from? Third, trending. Are the students just eating or purchasing what is trending? Chicken and fries, nuggets and fries, whatever is popular at the time. Third, nutrients. Are students purchasing their food items based on the nutritional value that they can get from them? The other one is preference. Do children just buy the same thing every day because this is what they prefer to eat? I like to eat bun and cheese every day, so I'm going to eat bun and cheese every day. Or are students influenced by their peers? My peers like to buy jerk chicken and festival. I don't really like it, but since they're doing it, I'm going to do it too. These are some factors that we consider when we're looking at the causes. Second question, we're looking at our effects or awareness. So how aware are the students about the nutritional guidelines? Are they aware of what a serving is, what a serving size is? Are they aware of what nutrients are and what nutritional value is all about? Are students aware of how to read the nutrition facts and labels? Are students aware of what portion control is? So, for example, do students consume more portions than they ought to in a day or for their lunch? Do they buy 2 patties instead of 1 just because they like cheese patties? Those are some factors to consider. And our third question is usually a solutions-based question. So we look at what actions can be taken, and the actions that are going to be taken are taken by people or groups or institutions. So the students are individuals. What can the students do to improve their nutritional intake or follow the nutritional guidelines? There are groups. Probably there could be a food and nutrition club. What does that club do to help to inform students? The institution. What can the school do to help to guide students into taking a more proactive approach to their nutrition? And then we have the government. There could be government agencies or ministries that may have programs in place or don't have programs in place. What do you think their role should be? So here we have our statement of the problem, and when you have completed this task, you should get 2 marks for stating the question properly. Moving on to our second task, which is the reason for selecting the area of research. This is usually called your rationale, and here you'll give reasons for selecting the topic. You will also explain why you chose the specific place and people to be included in the research. So here I have an example. A healthy and stable population. This is the expected outcome of Goal 1 of Vision 2030, Jamaica's National Development Plan. What's the importance of this? It is your opening statement to put your research into context. You move on from there. One way of attaining a healthy and stable population is by ensuring that citizens are properly nourished. This research will investigate the extent to which recommended nutritional guidelines influence students' lunch choices at Excellence High School. And the reason you have this statement is because you're giving the purpose of the research. You're telling us what the research is all about. Third, the researchers have noticed that students seem to be making unhealthy food choices during lunchtime. Why is this statement necessary? Because here you're giving your reason for doing the research. You have noticed or observed that students are not making healthy food choices and you want to know why. What could be the cause of this and how can you solve this problem? You continue. There seems to be a relationship between the food choices students are making and the increasing numbers of students who have been diagnosed with illnesses such as diabetes, hypertension, obesity, and eczema. And here you're giving another reason. Students seem to be getting ill and you think it's linked to what they're consuming. Additionally, the Ministry of Health and Wellness has implemented a policy which limits the amount of sugar in drinks sold to students. In fact, by the year 2023, the maximum amount of sugar allowed will be 2.5 grams per 100 milliliters. This indicates that there is a growing problem linked to students' food choices. And here, you're providing evidence to support the need to do this research. If there wasn't a problem, do you think the ministry would be mandating that you cut down the amount of sugar in drinks by 2023? Moving on. The researchers intend to find out about the factors influencing students' food choices, students' level of awareness about the recommended nutritional guidelines, and how students can make better lunch choices that are aligned to their recommended daily nutritional guidelines. And here you are explaining what you want to find out in the research. So these are your objectives. Basically, they are your research questions rephrased in the form of statements. And then we move on to saying, according to John Muir Health, teenagers need fruits, vegetables, calcium, protein, grains, iron-rich foods, and a limited fat intake. A detailed nutritional chart can be found in the Appendix 1. So why have you put this here? As the researcher, you need to know what you mean by recommended nutritional guidelines, number one. And your readers also need to know the standard that you are using to measure these recommended nutritional guidelines. So for ease of access, you include this information in your appendix and you get marks for your appendix. It's not just to pretty up your research. So we have completed the first two tasks and let's see if you have done what you are supposed to do. First of all, you have your statement of the problem, task 1. Did you select a topic that is from the syllabus? Have you checked that it's there? The second thing, you have your statement of the problem in the form of a question. Is it clearly stated in the form of a question? Think about it. And the third thing, in that question, have you included the three components, the what, the who, and the where? If you've done so, then you should be on your way to getting 2 marks. Our second task, the reason for selecting the area of research. Did you put the research into its proper context in that section? Did you give reasons for choosing the area of research in that section? Did you support your reasons with evidence? If you've done all of that, then you have earned yourself 2 marks. And so you should be on your way to getting your full 40 out of 40 for your SBA. This concludes the step-by-step guide to the SBA for the introduction.